Good afternoon, everybody. So yeah, our project is use LEDs to improve ornamental crop productions. So I'm the PI. We got Dr. Youbin Zheng, Dave Llewellyn, and we got student Dave Dot, and then we got Jimmy Shivang. She's from Omafra, as you know, and Theo is involved in this project as well. So I'm gonna present you with two parts. So we have two objectives. The first part, I'm gonna talk about how to use light quality to produce stock plants for cutting harvest. The cutting harvest is that you want as many as cuttings as possible and good quality cuttings. And the industry is moving towards machine harvest because labor can be expensive. To reduce growth regulator usage, light quality is a great tool for this. The second one is we're going to use light end of the day light treatment for improving potted ornamentals. So let me start the first one, light quality and stock plants. So the first crop we worked was a companion bluebell flower. So this plant is normally produced in pots, but they need many, many cuttings. So the grower, we collaborating with the trying to produce cuttings in indoor environment, have many levels of production area and use LED. This is a very interesting project. So we used light. One is use red and blue light as control. Normally that's people use with 100 micromole per square meter per second. And then we also, based on our lab's research, we used a dynamic light strategy. So the dynamic is first stage, we use red light, because red lights, we know that they encourage branching and the cutting side branches. That's what we want, the more the better. And then after that, we used pure blue, a very low light level blue, trying to encourage the plant to grow taller. So you can use machine to harvest it. To finish it, we used red and blue. Just to get the plants strong enough with good quality. And the research was conducted at the university, use walked-in chambers. And then, so you can see we did two trials. The first trial, we used 24 hours photo period. And the first stage, you see the canopy height, there was no difference, that's the red light. And then the second stage, when you have blue light, and then the plants just start to stretch to a canopy height that tall enough for machine harvest, and then we finished it. But the good news is that here you see, yeah, we achieved our goal, got the plant tall enough. However, because Campagna, it's a long day plants, and so it's flowered when we used 24 hours photo period. But why we used that? Because research in Norway, they showed that within 6 weeks, 24 hours, there was no flower, and then also rooting success was very good. So we tried that. But of course, looks like 24 hours photo period still didn't work for this crop. And then so we designed another experiment, used 10-hour photo period. And then again, the first stage, only red, and then second stage, blue. So we achieved the height, but it took much longer time, 11 weeks. So if you look at the side branch numbers, that's what we want. So for the first experiment, you can see the first stage, and then the dynamic light had much more side branches. And the second experiment, the second stage as well, you got much higher side branches. And then, so yeah, you got taller plants and more cuttings, but how about the quality? So we look at the quality here, we measured the chlorophyll content measurement. It was a little bit reduced. The dynamic light treatment, there was a little bit reduced. And side branch length increased, which is good, but the side branch diameter didn't change, which is good. And then so you can see the first experiment at stage 3, final stage, the plants were much taller, and then it's good for machine harvest. And then also, you can see here, we measured the angle of these side branches, because if you want to use machine to harvest these side branches, you're probably gonna cut this way, different way. They're still trying to figure out the machine how to use it. So the angle of these side branches, the larger the angle, the better. So it's upright. And then so you can see here, dynamic light treatment had much larger angle. So that means the side branches were more straight upward. So that's a good thing. So we look at the quality of the cutting length, not that much different. Cutting diameter for the second trial, not that much different. And cutting dry weight increased a little bit, which is good. And then how do they root? And then we look at the rooting success. There was not that much different. Root number and root length, they were very good qualities. So that's a good result. That means that you are able to use dynamic lighting, just use light quality at different stage. You're able to produce high quality cuttings for machine harvest. So at this moment, our industry partner is working with us to try at their commercial greenhouse site. They build a growth facility to do that. And then another crop we did was looking at chrysanthemums. So we know that mom's cuttings were mostly imported, but we also produce our own cuttings here in Canada. So we are trying to see whether the dynamic light strategy is able to increase the number of cuttings and then the height, the length of the cuttings as well. So it's the same treatment, but we didn't see that much a good thing happening. So like you can see here, we used the 3 stages, but one treatment is not pinching the top, just let the plant to grow. There was not that much different. If you pinch it, and that's normally you encourage the side branches to produce. And again, it's not huge treatment effect. So you can also see all these data collected, which I'm not gonna go through in detail. So basically, there's not that much positive effect, the dynamic lighting comparing to the constant lighting. So for chrysanthemums, it's still better, just use low light level, red and blue light to grow your stock plant, and you get better quality. So I'm not gonna go through this, but that's the message can become delivered to the growers. And then here you also can see the routine success. We know that there is no difference on routine success, but mums is a good way. And then we look at the second objectives is to use end of the day light treatment. You know, we have a long winter, dark winter season here. When you grow potted plants, how do you use light effectively to produce your plants? And at the end of the day, like winter time, like now, you're probably able to use very low light level, but the right spectrum to produce good quality plants. So you can get your plants ready much earlier, and then they flower better, and then with much lower cost, rather than you supply them with light all the time. So that's the base why we did this. Also to reduce chemical growth regulator. So what we did here, this is the greenhouse we used. And so during the day, there was no supplemental lighting, just the normal light from the sun. But during the night time, we had the control, so dark, nothing, or we gave a little bit blue, like you can see here. And another treatment is a little bit blue, a little bit red, a little bit far red. These are the spectrum we used. But the light we used, the light level is really, really low. It's only 15 micromole, which is tiny little bit, which means the electricity consumption is very, very low, okay? So that's why we did this, trying to use a little bit of money, but the lighting technology to improve your profit. And we used 4 different crops. They're responding different groups. We used mum. Everybody knows that mum is a short day plant. And then we used geranium, which is a day neutral plant. And then we used calabacoa, and it's a long day plant. And then we used short day facultative short day plants, Gebra. And then also these 4 plants, 4 crops are very popular, commonly grow in our greenhouses here. So you can see that we did during this time last year, beginning week 4, week 5 to week 16, because this is the time we are short of light, and then also people produce plants for Mother's Day, and then they see festival are coming. So outside the natural light, daily light integral is about 6.7 more per square meter per day. So here are some of the results. And then so you can see the chrysanthemums, if you give them a little bit blue, or give a little bit of blue plus red, far red, they grow a little bit taller than the control. And geranium, you still have this a little bit taller, but calabacoa and Gebra, there was not that much effect. And the dry weight, above ground dry weight, which is an indication of how large your plant is. So we have mums here, not that much different. And geranium, the blue did the best. And calabacoa and Gebra, not that much different treatment effect. Here is very, very interesting though, because it's potted flowering plants, And so we spent tons of time observing the flower performance. So you can see that we recorded each, we call it flowering index. So this is 1 for moms, 2, 3, 4. So when they are fully open, the flowering index is 4. So you can see here is that under dark, the flower opened much earlier. And we know that because mums is a short day plant. So if you give a little bit blue, even it is very low, at the end of the day, they still prevent the flowering a little bit. But if you add a little bit red and far red, there's no flower. Yeah. So if you produce potted flower chrysanthemums, really you don't need to add any blue or blue, red, far red. However, if you are growing mom plants and stock plants for cutting productions, if even you add a little bit red, far red in the night, it's great. I will show you a photo afterwards. And then here is the flowering bud. Even the flowering stage, you didn't see that blue increase that, but the blue light treatment, only 15 micromole at the end of the day for a few hours per day, it's increased the flower bud quite a bit, okay? So that's probably is a good thing because potted moms, people do look at how many flowers. If there are many flowers over there, they will buy it. So this is short day plant response. And if you look at the Calibrachoa long day plant, it's just opposite. It's just great. So if you give blue, add a little bit red, far red, the plants flower much earlier and larger. And then add a little bit blue only, flower better, comparing with no light at all. And then also you can see the flower bud, both under red, blue, far red, and only blue, they have more flower buds as well. But for geranium and Gabbro, the treatment was not that dramatic. So, so you can see here, the result is probably not only going to be good for these 4 crops because we deliberately choose the representative crop from each group, long day, short day, day neutral, this and that. Probably these results can be easily applied to other crops as well. So this is a photo you can see here, dark, under dark. That's the mom you got. If you give a little bit blue, and then the plants get taller and then more flower. But if you give blue, red, far red, see how bushy it is. It's vegetative, no flower. So if you are growing from other plants, that's what you would do. Calibrachoa, because it's long day plants, just add a little bit blue. The plants grow much larger, and then red, blue, red, far red, tiny little bit, and then they become large and flower as well. So even for bedding plants, probably if you use this lighting strategy to get your plants ready, because gardeners, when they buy, they would buy plants with flowers. So this is very interesting. And Gabbro, see, if you use blue, they start to flower. Blue, red didn't have that much effect. And geranium, not huge effect. So that's our research and reports. I'm not gonna use text to conclude anything. Those are the photos I concluded already. Of course, we would like to thank COHA, thank Flowers Canada, and AFC for the funding and support, and Plant Part, and Plus Right, they gave us financial support, supplied us with lighting, and then all these growers, they gave us plants, gave us advice, and then we visit them, and then when we got results, we trying to communicate to them, back to them, to thank them for their help. And then that's it